Hello, BookTube, and welcome back to my Blu-ray slash DVD. And this time I'm going to say VHS library. Yes, I have one. And this is for Kino, Kino Lorber, as it's called now. Kino started in the late 70s, and I think around 2010-ish, it was bought and merged with I think it's Richard Lorber, and so now it's called, or since then it's been called Kino Lorber. And as I said, I do have a VHS. This was given to me um, at the British Silent Film Festival, one of the festivals, by somebody, and because they knew I liked Louise Brooks. So this is the show off. I don't have a VHS player, but I don't want to get rid of it. It's Louise Brooks. Um, it's 1926, and they did put it out in DVD. I used to have this on DVD, but when times were a bit tough, I had to sell a lot of my DVDs, mostly silent. So what I have left is just a small fraction of them. And this is out of print now, and well, obviously VHS, but out of print in DVD as well. And they haven't done it in Blu-ray yet. And the DVD's very expensive last time I looked. This is a newer one. I should have this in Blu-ray, but I couldn't get it at the time, and I wanted to see it again because I had just a very cheap pirated sort of copy, and it's a very good one. It's W.C. Fields, Louise Brooks. It's directed by Edward Sutherland, and he married, or Louise Brooks was married to him briefly. We came across a film of his. I think one of a few, I think, as we go through, but I think it was one of the Mae West films, possibly. He did direct up until well into the silence after they divorced. But this is a good film with W.C. Fields. He does his usual stick, and he's got his sort of floating mustache that looks a bit strange. The commentary on it is quite dire. It says by film historian James L. Niebauer. He wrote apparently it's like I don't think I have it, but it's a biography of W.C. Fields, and it's highly thought of. But his commentary is horrible because all he does is sit there and tell you what you're watching on the screen. I don't need somebody to tell me that. I can see. I got eyes. So anyway, but it's a good film. Another one that I'm hoping they will put into Blu-ray at some point, and better restoration, The Cat and the Canary. This is it's a restoration that was done by Kevin Braunlau and Patrick Stanbury for Photoplay Productions. Here in the UK, it's 1927. It's based on a play, and it stars Laura LaPlante, Tully Marshall, Gertrude Astor, George Siegman, and Crichton Hale. It's directed by Paul Lenny, which is a very good director. It's a sort of a haunted house type film, and it's been remade many times. We'll come across at least one of the remakes on Kino on Blu-ray later. But yeah, I wish this would show up on Blu-ray. And this was they did put this in Blu-ray, The Penalty, and it's from the print in the George Eastman house. It's 1920. It's as you can see, it's Lon Chaney. It's called The Penalty, and it's directed by Wallace Worsley, and it's really good. I used to have this in DVD, but I'm glad they did it in Blu-ray. And here is an older one, and it's got actually a booklet, which is unusual for Kino. And just this is going to be silence. I hope I can get them all done in this video. Let's see here. This is Uncle Tom's Cabin. It's a definitive edition of the 1927 epic. It is directed by Harry Pollard. It is based on the novel by Harriet Beecher Stowe. It's Universal. Carl Laemmle presents, it says, and trying to remember. This is nobody sort of. James B. Lowe, Margarita Fisher, and George Siegman again. This is, we saw this in the Masters of Cinema, Love of Jenny Nye. It's a G.W. Pabst film, 1927. And it stars Fritz Rath, Bridget Helm. Bridget Helm is, I suppose, best probably known as Mariah from Fritz Lang's Metropolis. And a biggie for silence is Sergei Eisenstein, and this is Strike. This is a very good one. I actually think it might be better than Battleship Potemkin, but that's hard to say. But this is 1925, USSR, and I can't pronounce everybody's names that were in it. But Sergei Eisenstein was born in Latvia, and I was in Latvia in 2004, I think it was, and I went to see his house that was there, so that was interesting. And this is Nana, Jean Renoir film. It's from an Emile Zola novel. It's got a commentary on it, Nick Pinkerton. I haven't listened to the commentary. Well, I haven't seen this version of it yet, or this this transfer, I should say. It's 1920. No, 1926. Sorry. And it's got Werner Krauss in it. Catherine Hessling. Werner Krauss is probably the best known of the actors in it. And here's a Rudolph Valentino film, which is probably one of his better ones, I would say. It's Blood and Sand. It's got Lila Lee and Nita Naldi. And that's 1922. I'm just trying to see who was the director here. It's Paramount Picture, directed by Fred Niblo. That's probably why it's pretty good. He did a lot of stuff like, I think he did the Noah's Ark, the silent Noah's Ark, and many or dozens were injured and many died, and mostly to the negligence of the director. I think it was Niblo. This is The Intrigue, directed by Julia Crawford Ivers. It says Forgotten Films. It's Pioneers, First Women Filmmakers. Lenore Ulrich, The Intrigue. And this is 1916, and there's some other shorts on here as well. Another Lon Chaney, Outside the Law, Priscilla Dean, and it's Todd Browning. Directed one of his silents, and he was the director of Dracula and Freaks, if for those who know their early films, sound films. And this was 1920. What, 1920? Yeah, 1920. And this is a fabulous film. Anything that's done by him. Eric von Stroheim. I really like his stuff. This is 1922 and Foolish Wives. And there's a picture of him kissing her feet. Let's see if it'll. I think that's seen. You can see that, but yeah. And there's also documentary, "The Man You Loved to Hate," and Marion Davies, "When Knighthood Was in Flower." It's got a musical score by Ben Model, who's pretty good for silent stuff. This is, trying to see what year this is, 1922. Some of them are so difficult to put the information on. Some off the top of my head, I can't remember the directors. It was produced by William Randolph Hearst, which Marion Davies was his mistress. I can't see. The printing's too small. And here's a collection of Reginald Denny. It's got one of those slip case bits on, and it's two Blu-rays. He's quite known in sound films. He did a lot of stuff. He was also a pioneer in aviation with companies in flying. This has Reckless Age, Skinner's Dress Suit, and What Happened to Jones. And I remember him in quite a few. I think he was in several Bulldog Drummond films, which were really good from the 30s. And these date from 1924, 26, and 1926. Directed by Harry Pollard, The Reckless Age. Henry Irving. Wait a minute, I'll try to read here. The second one, Skinner's Dress Suit, is Henry Irving Dodge. And What Happened to Jones, directed by William Cedar. And here is a very interesting early serial called Les Vampires. It's 10 parts. It's a total of 417 minutes. And it's from 1915 to 16. It's Louis Fiod, if that's the correct pronunciation. And this is a nice transfer of the serial. And the what's her name? Trying to remember her name now. Misadoro, or however pronounce it. She's in like a black cat suit through a lot of it. And this is also another Louis Fiod serial, and it's based on a long-running series of books, which I've read several of them, and they're really good. Fantomas. And this is 1913. It's actually earlier. Let's start putting these up here, because things are going to fall away. And this is a silent version of no, that's not Kino, so we'll just move that away, and we'll get to that eventually. Hellbent, featuring Harry Carey. A Western, 1918, directed by John Ford. Another John Ford, Harry, I think it's John Ford, Harry Carey and Molly Malone, Straight Shooting. Jack Ford, John Ford. Yeah, it's for some reason, and that was 1917, and he did it under Jack Ford. And this is a very interesting film. It's a very good film, early film. Covered Wagon. There's some fabulous scenes here because it's shot sort of on location. And this is it Henry? Just a minute. Oh, Emerson Hogue is the novels. I want to say Henry was the first big budget Western epic, and that's 1923. Maybe it's James Cruise is the director, but I thought it was, James Cruise, I think, yeah. Okay. And here's another one that's an early good one. It's another James Cruise. Wallace Beery, Esther Ralston, George Bancroft, and Charles Farrell. Old Ironsides. This has a booklet, I think. Yeah, this has a little booklet in. And this is 1926. And Gloria Swanson, Manhandled by a really good director. Again, Alan Dwan. And this is 1924. Not sure what I'm doing for time here. Well, it seemed to be okay. Put that aside. Well, don't know if I can get a hold of that one now without moving too much. Just give me a second. These things are like picking up greased items. They just flip out and move all around. Sorry, I'm not sure. Can I pause? Okay, well, that's the first time I've ever used a pause, which was good, because when I went to get this Blu-ray, the pile here fell off. They're not damaged. The cases, they don't damage, and they just didn't fall very far, but just a pain. Okay, back to the regular scheduled programming. W.C. Fields and Running Wild, another sort of typical W.C. Fields doing a shtick. 1927. And that was directed by Roy Bryant, I think it is. And he was a huge vaudeville star, and with his juggling, and he was in the Follies, and when Louise Brooks started, she used to go up and drink with him, drink gin, and he used to tell stories and juggle, and they got along very well. Gloria Swanson. Oh, we've already done these. So I don't know. Wait a minute. Have I? No, those are done already. And Lights of Broadway, Marion Davies again. And this is 1925. Conrad Nagel, George K. Arthur. Directed by Montabelle. And Drifting and White Tiger. Priscilla Dean and Anna Mae Wong, and it's Ted Browning. That's the Todd Browning for White Tiger. They're both Todd Browning. Drifting is 1923, and White Tiger is also 1923. And Gloria Swanson and Stage Struck. Alan Dwan again. And this is 1925. Whirlpool of Fate, another Jean Renoir film, 1925. This has a booklet. No, it doesn't. I thought it felt a bit heavy. It's his debut feature, Whirlpool of Fate. And this is kind of neat. The daughter of Dawn. It's a Native American film, and I believe this is shot on location in the Wichita Mountains of Oklahoma. Directed by Norbert Miles, and he directed all Indian cast, Native American cast, and this was done in if I ever see the date, it's quite early, I believe. They never, like, some of these places, they don't have, it's like finding a copyright date on a book sometimes. They do not make it easy. I don't see a date here. It's 1920. It's 1920. The daughter of Dawn. And this is probably, well, it is Louise Brooks' best American-made film, Beggars of Life. It's got Wallace Beery, Richard Arlen, and Louise Brooks. And it's directed by William A. Wellman. And it's a fabulous film. Wallace Beery is great in it. And there's lots of stories that go along with this. And Louise Brooks liked Wallace Beery, and everybody thought he was mean and everything, but she got along with him well. So that was that's a very good film. Douglas Fairbanks in The Half-Breed, Alan Dwan film, but it also includes The Good Bad Man 2 features. Are they both by Alan Dwan? I'm not sure who. I'm assuming it might be Alan Dwan again for The Good Man. Yeah, it's Alan Dwan for both those. 1916. So it's quite early for Douglas Fairbanks. That's Douglas Fairbanks Sr. Shakedown. James Murray and Barbara Kent, not another, but a William Wyler film, who went on to direct a lot of sound films, and there is some essays in a booklet in this one. It's 1929. And 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. It's a Universal film. Sorry, I tried it in 1916. Directed by Stuart Patton. And Peter Pan, 1924. It's a Paramount picture. Betty Bronson, Esther Ralston, Ernest Torrance, Anna May Wong. And this is 1924, yeah. And Florence Vidor in You Never Know Women. It's another William A. Wellman film, another silent film. And let's see here, with Lionel Sherman and Clive Brook. Now we're getting down to the end of them. Oh, here's an interesting box set. This is DVD. I should have showed this in the DVDs. It's 140 Edison Company films in 1891 to 1918. This is the newer packaging of it. They used to have a different packaging. This is... I don't like these that are in slid in like that, because they can damage. But it's smaller packaging, and it's all the films, and it also has the Great Train Robbery with the guy shooting into the camera. And it was hand colored at the time, so that's quite nice. There's some documentaries on there that are good too. Marlene Dietrich, The Woman One Longs For, apparently. This is 1929. It's one of her German films, directed by, if I can find it here. No, I can't see off the top of my head who. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. It doesn't say off the top of my head. I'm not sure. Yeah. So anyway, it's Marlene Dietrich and The Woman One Longs For. Now this is a really good box set. I wish they actually did a little more with it, but I'm happy the way it is, and I wish the booklet was bigger, because the booklet is very small for the number of films that are in here. It's Fritz Lang, The Silent Films. Now, it's everything that's pretty well left. It's straight. Well, they got The Spiders, which was a serial never completed. Hiri Kiri, The Wandering Shadow. Four Around the Woman, Destiny. Dr. Mabuse, The Gambler. Die Nebelingen. Metropolis, Spies, Woman in the Moon, and The Plague of Florence. That one I think he wrote, and they since they had one that he wrote, I sort of wish that they'd have all the ones that he wrote that are available too. And actually, there might be one missing here. I can't remember now, but it is a nice box set by Kino. It's very heavy too, but it also it's done in an interesting form. It's done as a book. You open it up, and there's Die Nebelingen there. But again, they're slid into slots, which can damage the Blu-ray or DVD. DVDs get damaged easier. The Blu-rays are a little more hardy. But this is a fabulous box set. It's not cheap. It's pricey. It's got a 32-page essay by Tom Gunning, which is a good film historian. But yeah, so there's my Kino Silence, and we'll move on to one more film, or one more video with the regular Kino one. So that's not too bad, 30 minutes. So I'll see you next time, BookTube.